Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Weekend Warrior Show, another edition. I'm your host, Curt Sandoval, along with Dr. Robert Klapper. Justin Herbert is he's right-handed. He broke a bone in his middle finger on his left hand, and it's kind of the Top Gun. Which one? It's that one.
Right.
So one thing is, it's his non-throwing finger, but I can't help but think what I saw at practice. There's a big old splint on that thing. How do you see that affecting him tonight?
So it is hand fractures have a better blood supply than other areas of our body. So rich in circulation, which means they heal fast, but they don't heal in a week or two. Most bones take 6 weeks. They'll heal you'll be pain-free at 3 weeks, really fast. So he's not healed yet.
Right.
So he'll feel that tip of his long finger on his non-dominant hand, and you can speak best to our fans about what it takes to, he's righty. We brought a football today to get those fingers on the threads for the spin, as they call it, and to be accurate. But even you, Curt Sandoval, as you're trying to showcase to us, you had, for that moment, had to help support the right
Without
hand.
a doubt.
And that goes for getting the ball from the center, handing the ball off, stabilizing the football for the non-throwing aspects, which I believe are interesting. So I want to talk a little bit with some Klapper vision about the hand, the fingers. And Eli, let's take a look. You've shown us beautifully the left hand of Justin Herbert.
And I love this because you can see the splint on it, and he uses a glove to help his grip, but the splint is still on the outside.
That's correct. So keeping it from flexing.
Right.
So now take a good look again at his thumb and those four fingers and the palm. Here's our Klapper vision number 1 for this injury.
Okay.
A windshield.
A windshield.
A windshield, and more importantly, a windshield wiper. So this is a static photograph, but we're all very familiar with how the windshield wiper sweeps across our windshield. Well, now, everybody, I want them to look at their hand and look at your thumb and imagine, Klapper vision, your four fingers and your palm is the windshield. Now take your thumb and sweep it across the index finger, across all the way to the little finger. It's like breaking the windshield wiper, either at the tip or at the base, depending on what we're dealing with. That, it's not a thumb fracture that he has.
Which is great for the Chargers, right?
Exactly right.
Or anybody that's got Justin Herbert on their fantasy team.
So he's cracked a little spot where the windshield is. So you are not going to necessarily get the sweep action. Why is this significant to me? Because the thumb and how it engages the fingers, two things we think about. Number one, here's a pen, Curt Sandoval, and show us what it's like, what thumb and which finger you need to draw and sign your name. This is called fine touch. Notice it's your index finger and your thumb finely touching the pen. Okay? Now, I'd love you to pick up a hammer. And Eli, we can go to the hammer.
I've got a hammer.
Look at what you're doing now with your thumb.
In the podcast.
The entire windshield. You're not just gripping the pen with your index. And for you to hold on to that hammer, we call that, not fine touch, power grip.
Which is all football.
Which is all football, but it's his middle finger. So it lives between the fine touch of whatever it takes finely to accommodate passing the ball off, handing the ball off, to the power of grasping it hard because he's about to be tackled. Will he fumble the ball more tonight if he's tackled?
And that's my question. You've always been fabulous as we talk about the mental, emotional standpoint. And most of us have jammed a finger, and maybe, mom or dad when we were younger, or even older, certainly playing basketball, jam fingers happen all the time. And you put that splint on, and it goes right here. It's like, And that's what I'm curious to see. How much is he in shotgun tonight, catching it like that, versus if your hand is here, go like this. I'll do, okay, so, and versus that. And is that going to affect the throw more?
So here's my politically incorrect question that I'm lucky enough to be in studio with you as a fan to ask you.
Okay.
Politically incorrect.
All right.
I'm phrasing it ahead of time.
I love it.
How much do the other players see the wounded duck, to see I think he played at Oregon, to see the wounded duck, to see the injury, where they'll go smack in his hand?
It's a legitimate question, and it's almost like when a baseball pitcher gets asked, a baseball pitcher can thread a needle with a fastball, and then they hit someone and they go, got away. Got away. It's the same thing.
Right.
You know everyone on the and Dallas has a phenomenal defense. Oops.
Right.
Sorry, when I was getting up, I accidentally.
Right.
It'll happen all night long.
So that's it. So that's what we'll pay attention to tonight, and going forward is how that non-dominant hand, the non-throwing hand, really affects the life of a quarterback.
So the other thing I want to ask you, and you kind of brought this up at the top, you said it's not healed yet, because that's usually 3 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
He had 1 week. It's been 2 weeks.
Right.
How much pain is involved, in a end of finger break versus a knee, a hamstring, tissues, those type of things?
So my wife says I never answer the question, so I'm going to answer the question. You now see him in a splint. The splint does two things. It keeps movement away because it's stabilized to allow for healing. That's one function.
Okay.
But the second function is it enhances the heal. But the second function is it protects. And let's go back to that first picture
of Herbert.
Now look carefully. Look carefully, and if you have a pointer, Curt.
Yep, right here.
Take a look at where the end of the glove of that finger ends. Right?
Right.
Notice that the splint goes further out.
Over the top.
That is its role in protection. So it inspired by no movement. What is it? Why would it be moving? Because tendons that allow you to move your finger anchor to the bone. And the way we get healing to occur is we shut down movement so that the bone can live stably and allow it to heal. But if you allow the bone to be pulled in all different directions by the tendon still moving, you will never get that bone to heal.
Yeah.
So two functions of the splint: to protect it, to allow healing by stabilizing the movement, and to have it stick out further so that it's protected from getting whacked on the tip.
One